Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the Salescast Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we are on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
Hey there, everyone. This is Larry. I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude for the incredible support you've shown since Selling in a Post-Trust World book launched earlier in August. Thanks to you, Selling in a Post-Trust World is making waves and helping sales professionals everywhere build authentic relationships. If you haven't grabbed your copy yet, head over to barnesandnoble.com and order yours today. And here's a special thank you. When you leave a review of the book, we'll give you instant access to our exclusive Selling in a Post-Trust World private podcast. This 12-episode series dives deeper into each chapter, offering actionable insights to elevate your sales game. Don't miss out. Order your copy, leave a review, and unlock exclusive content designed to help you sell from the heart. For more details, go to sellinginapostrustworld.com. Thank you. Thank you for being part of this movement. Together, we're transforming the world of sales, one authentic relationship at a time.
Hello, and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
Everything's going on. We're going to have a fantastic time here today on the podcast. I know my good buddy Damon Lembi is going to join us. Darrell, this year is flying by. You know what? I'm proud of what we've accomplished. So much has happened in Selling from the Heart community this year. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting us.
Absolutely. And, this community of like-hearted sales professionals all across the industry. And by the way, if you're new to the podcast, I just want to say welcome, because you have joined a growing community of sales professionals and leaders that are dedicated to being genuine, being authentic, building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. And you're absolutely right. And here we are in this, last month of the year, looking forward over the fence into 2025. And it is a great moment just to say thank you to everybody, because this has been an epic year here at Selling from the Heart, and hearing the stories of so many different people in our community. It's great to see this movement continue to grow as we bring authenticity to this profession that we all love.
Absolutely. We've always said here at Selling from the Heart, Darrell, that Selling from the Heart is a true global movement. I just wanted to give a shout out to a guy by the name of Nelson Fernandez. And I tell you what, I think he's probably 13 hours time difference from where I'm at in Southern California. He's over in India. He's a total great guy. He aligns so well to our message. He waves the flag. He talks about us, and he talks about our good buddy, Dave Curlin, all the time. Nelson, we appreciate you.
Hats off, Nelson. That's awesome. Well, today you're in for a treat. We're delighted to have Damon Lembi. He is the driving force behind LearnIt. It's a global training powerhouse that has significantly enhanced the capabilities of over 1.8 million workplace professionals. For over 3 decades, Damon has been at the forefront of empowering organizations and their leaders to surpass their competitors by fostering a culture of continuous learning. As he shifted from a career in baseball to becoming a titan in the training industry, Damon brings a unique athlete's perspective to leadership and development, focusing particularly on leaders, and also the parallels into sales are just perfect. His best-selling book is The Learn It All Leader: Mindset, Traits, and Tools. And his keynotes offer transformative insights tailored to those who aim to excel in the fast evolving world that we're all in right now. Damon, it's an honor to have you here at the Selling from the Heart podcast. Welcome.
It's great to be here. Honored to be a guest on today's show. And Darrell and Larry, good seeing you guys.
It's always good seeing Damon Lembi.
And look what I got.
There you go.
Right here.
There you go.
Right on the
all
side
right.
of my
Well, if you want to be a Learn It All, you've got to read Selling in a Post-Trust World. So thank you for sharing that, Damon. And as we get started, the question that every guest on the Selling from the Heart podcast answers, and that is, Damon, what does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
What it means to me is being authentic, being genuine, and really, you got to look out for what's best, not only just for your customer, but also for your team. And let me say what I mean by that is we're in professional services. We're doing training, and a lot of times sales reps are out there and they're just trying to get a deal done, making it transactional, whatever they can get the deal across the finish line. But I think if you're selling from the heart, you truly care about the best interests of your customers and you want to bring value. And you're not going to sell something that's also over-promising and underproducing. And what I mean by that is, you sell something and then it's like throwing a grenade over to the operations team and they got to try to figure out how to deliver it. So that's what I mean when it comes to selling from the heart is you got to be authentic and genuinely care about both your customers and put your team in a position to be successful.
Oh, this is so good. And I know you'd give us a really good answer, Damon. And it's why, I'm sitting here listening to what you're saying. And I go, you know what? True selling is a team sport. 100%. It's a team sport. It's not just you. It's everybody involved in your company that's forging forward to take care of your customers in a way that creates betterment and that creates sustainability. But you have to be able to shine the light on them. You can't shine the light on yourself. It's selling from the heart, Damon. We call this give and rip. You just got to give a rip about your customers, but you got to give a rip about your team.
100%. And one of the things I've always kind of done my best to instill in our team is, hey, when you're going out there, do what's best for them, right? And so just really focus on how we're going to add value. And if it's a situation where maybe we're not the right fit for them, then turn it over, put them in touch with somebody else because the customers will come back because that's how you build a relationship and you build that trust than more than just like a one-off transaction where you close the door and hope it just goes well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when it comes to giving a rip, we are passionate at Selling from the Heart about delivering meaningful value. It's one of the 4 pillars of the trust formula in the book, Selling in a Post-Trust World. And I know, and this is why I'm so excited to have this conversation today. I know that if you're going to deliver meaningful value, you need to be somebody who's continuously learning. And we talk about it all the time here at Selling from the Heart. Now, your book title is phenomenal because nobody likes a know-it-all. And by the way, some of the empty suit sales professionals out there, they come across as know-it-alls, but everybody likes a learn-it-all. So tell us about the learn-it-all. What is the difference between a know-it-all and a learn-it-all?
Well, nobody likes a know-it-all. And this reminds me of a time about 15 years ago. We had a team out in Arizona, and I'm up on the whiteboard with my sales manager at the time, and we're going through training our team, and we had a empty suit on our team, and she turned to somebody and whispered in her ear, I've been selling for 15 years. What are these guys going to teach me? Right. She lasted another couple of weeks, but that's exactly what a know-it-all is, right? As they come across, they think they have it all figured out. They're stuck in their ways. The sales process they used in 1997, they think is still the best way to go about business. And that is just so untrue. I think whether it's in sales, whether it's in leadership, all the above, you need to continuously learn and evolve. And the only way to do that is to stay abreast of not only what's the latest sales techniques, what's the different approaches you should be taking, but also what's going on in the industries and the verticals you're selling to with your customers. And so finding the time to stay abreast of what's going on is really what sets the difference apart between a sales professional and I believe empty suit know-it-all.
You know what's interesting about this, and I want to go back to that story with that tenured salesperson for just a moment, just to shine a light on this, Damon. Is I believe, and this is just my beliefs on this, tenured salespeople, and we all know, however you want to define tenured salespeople, whether that be by age, whether that be by how long you've been in the sales world, is these are the ones that are the most vulnerable because they're set in their ways. They go, okay, been there, done that. Maybe they've earned their stripes, however they want to define earn their stripes. But when I say they're the most vulnerable, is all it takes is one of their really good customers to go bye-bye. And they go into this spiral of finger pointing and excuse making and all of that, why they can't do certain things. But that learn-it-all sales professional is going to be educating themselves along the way. They're going to be taking care of their customers along the way. They're going to be learning things about what's going on in this industry to prevent what I call client attrition, which will slap a tenured salesperson right across the face.
Yeah, without a doubt. And when you're saying vulnerable, they're not vulnerable in the sense saying that they need help. They're vulnerable of losing their job and their customers, right? And I think great salespeople and great sales leaders need to stay curious and constantly, especially when you get into a client meeting, is you got to actually listen to what people have to say and tie that back to how you could help support them moving forward. And a lot of times, the know-it-alls don't do that. They ask questions, right? And they sit there and they figure like, I've been doing this for years. I got it all figured out. So whatever solution I give them is the right path. And I think that a lot of customers can pick that up, and you lose trust that way, and that's how you turn over your customers.
I think that's such a good point, because I think we talking at Selling from the Heart about listening to learn, and I think a lot of salespeople listen to pounce. They listen to pitch. They listen to, wait for that first moment where they see a crack and they just, pound on it. Whereas I believe a true sales professional is going to look at every encounter with a customer, with a prospect, with any conversation they have as a listen to learn. And I believe that's a mindset. And you talk in your book about this learn it all mindset. What characterizes, like what types of things would you look at someone and go, that's a learn it all mindset that they're demonstrating?
What I look at when it comes to being a learn it all, really the 5 key traits are humility, integrity. You got to have courage, and I'll talk about that in a second. You also need to be accountable, like Larry was saying. I think that learn-it-alls don't play the victim. They as you talk about in both of your books, you got to, the man in the mirror. You got to own the responsibility for it. And then, like we just said, you have to be curious. So those are really, when it comes down to, as far as humility is concerned, it's like you don't have to have all the answers. And I think great salespeople, Darrell, they control the process with the customers and they own the relationship, but they're also not afraid to bring in, sales support or other team members who can help support them in that journey, right? Because they don't know it all. And I think having a learn it all mentality or a growth mindset and realizing that things are always evolving and changing is critical. And when I talk about courage, it's just sometimes, and Larry, you and I talked about this when you did an amazing kickoff for our sales team, is not being afraid to get off script and just having a genuine conversation wherever that goes, right? And a lot of salespeople don't have the courage to do that, because what if things go in a direction that they're not comfortable with and they feel like they fall on their face? A learn it all isn't afraid to make mistakes or just try new things and learn, get out of their comfort zone and grow.
I just got to throw this question out only just because I don't think I've ever, in all the time we've known each other, I don't think I've ever asked this, but it's still playing on learn it all, is where'd you come up with this whole thought process as far as the learn it all? Where'd this stem from? Because I know it's got to be deeply rooted somewhere.
Well, I think first of all, when my dad came up with the idea for Learn It back in the day, it was just, people would always say, well, I need to learn it. I need to learn it. Right. And so that's like, it's a play on words. And plus we started off with doing IT training, which we don't do a lot anymore, but it would be like Learn IT. So there was a bunch of different takes on it. But one thing I want to clarify when it comes to Learn It All is it doesn't mean you just go out and you learn everything and you don't apply it. We had a great guest on our show named David Katz. And one thing he said, Larry, that really stuck with me is that learning without doing is treason. So you got to take, what you learn in your book or my book, or if you're watching a documentary or going through a course, and figuring out how you can actually apply what you've learned. So that's part of the Learn It All process.
I really like that. It's, if you think about, I've been thinking about putting together a learning plan personally as we're looking into 2025. Like, what do I want to learn? There's the listening to learn in sales conversations. I think there's also an intentional, like, what am I going to learn this year? What do I really want to focus on, and how can I do it? But one of the ideas you've given me is not just putting together a learning plan of what kind of content, courses or books or whatever that I'm going to consume, but how can I then demonstrate putting that into action? Because I recognize that, you can learn stuff, but till you put it into action, I don't think you've really learned it. And I would say probably when you can teach it, then you're really, really getting there. But I want to think together about this learning plan, and it's a little selfish. So if you were coaching me in putting together my learning plan for 2025, what advice would you give me?
Well, the advice I'd give you is, first of all, Darrell, like what are you trying to accomplish in 2025? Are you trying to grow your sales? Are you trying to lead a team? And then kind of look at also what your strengths are. And I'm a big believer personally that you should focus on strengths more than weaknesses. So for instance, if you're good at having difficult conversations, which most people aren't, I would even continue to get better at that. So I'd put together a learning plan that first looks at your strengths. And then if there's specific weaknesses or things that you're just curious about and things you want to learn, then I would throw in some learning opportunities around that. Now, one thing that I want to point out for your listeners, because I get asked this question all the time, is, well, what's the best way to learn something? Is it through reading books or taking online classes or whatever? What we tell our clients, and what I tell the people I coach and mentor, is whatever works best for you. I believe everybody learns differently, right? So with that being the case, figure out what works best for you, what's going to help you with your retention, and go down that path. So if I'm somebody that prefers one-on-one coaching, then go find a coach. Or if I'm somebody that learns best by reading and do that. So I don't think it's a one size fits all, Darrell. I think it's figure out what works best for you and maximize it.
Yeah, so I want to continue down this. Like Darrell's got this whole path, what can I learn in 2025 and put a plan together for that? What about somebody who's not quite sure, Damon? So let's just flip the script on this for a moment, because I think, everyone who listens to the Selling from the Heart podcast, I know they exude that kind of characteristics. But speak to the people out there that really haven't thought about this. They're the ones that are just, right? They're just aimlessly going through their sales career. But now they're faced with, I got to up my game. So speak to those people. Where could they start in this, call it this, framing their mindset around learn it all? What are two or three things they could start thinking about to reframe their mind, saying, you know what? I got to get on this bandwagon of learning, coach somebody through that. Where would they start?
I think the very first place they start is self-reflection. And what they need to do is they need to find some quiet time, whether having a coffee or a beer or whatever, and just start writing down what's been going on in their life from a work perspective, maybe even a personal perspective, what's going well. Be honest with themselves. What are some of the struggles they've had? And then start mapping it out from there. Because at the end of the day, you're responsible for your own career. Nobody else is. And so you gotta own it yourself, and you gotta look at, okay, here's where I'm strong, here's where I'm weak, and then have a plan. I think too many individuals go about life from the seat of their pants. So have a plan, and then just take the first step. And you don't need to, just go full force and do nothing but learning, but just start small. Get your book, or, get my book, or do something and just read 15, 20 minutes a day and just start there. So I would start off with self-reflection, and then I would just start carving out a little bit of time to get that muscle going in reading. And then also, if you have a job, if you have a sales job or a leadership job or whatever it is you're doing, find times to learn in the flow of work, opportunities to learn from people you work with, find a mentor, go out to lunch with somebody and just start having conversations and being engaged in listening. So that, and again, listening and learning, because there's so many different And it doesn't have to be all work related all the time. Go out to a party and have conversations with people about topics that you're unfamiliar with, and just be curious and present. And I think if you start doing all that, then you'll start becoming more of a learn it all mentality. And the last point I want to add to that is I literally believe that one of the most key skills that you need now in sales and in the future is learning agility. And that's the ability to continue to learn and grow. And that's a skill you can build. And I think it starts with some of the things that I just mentioned right there.
I love it. I know we have a lot of leaders listening in to the podcast as well. And I know as a sales leader, I'm guessing many of them are thinking, how can I develop a learning culture inside my sales team? How can I take, my sales team, which, and motivate the folks in this team, cast vision for us to become a learning organization, have a culture where we're continually learning. What advice would you give to leaders in that direction?
My advice is, Darrell, first and foremost, it starts at the top. Okay. So either it starts with the CEO or it starts with the CRO, and you got to lead by example. And so you need to be out there learning yourself, right? And sharing back with the team. If you're going to a conference or if you're watching, you're reading a book, and so you got to lead by example there. And then second of all, you need to carve out time during the work week for your team to learn. I like to call it LTO. There's PTO, paid time off, but carve out time, learning time off, where people have, it doesn't have to be a lot of time. It could just be 30 minutes here, 45 minutes there, where people can go out and start, learning. Another thing that I like to do, and I've done this both internally, but also for some of our customers, Larry, like the Atlanta Braves, is book clubs. Where they read my book, and then I came out, and then I took turns with their VP of sales, and we just shared different things that they learned from my book and had it applied to what they're experiencing in customer success and ticket sales. And so I think that modeling learning and giving people the opportunity to learn. And again, it doesn't always have to be directly tied to your job, but modeling learning, giving people the opportunity to learn is really, Darrell, the best place to start in building a learning culture. And then praising and recognizing the individuals who do take the time to learn.
Hey, you know what I like about this, and it's I want to play off of what you said, Damon, as far as learning, and it's what's interesting. And Darrell already knows this. Every single day, at the end of every single day, the end of my day routine is two things. What's a small win? I got to capture a small win, whatever that small win is. But then I also have to unpack what I learned that day. And it's so I think this is mission critical. So I got to just speak to leaders on this, because Damon, I'd be curious your thoughts on this. So imagine leaders out there right now, if you cascaded the message down, and that message was, hey, you know what? At the end of every day, I, as the leader, I, as the CEO, I, as the president of this company, let me share with you a little bit about my afternoon ritual before I wind it down. I look at, a couple company wins, but then I look at what I personally learned throughout the day. Now, I encourage you all to do that. You as sales managers, you as salespeople. And here's what's interesting. At the end of a month, if you do this 7 days a week, at the end of a month, you have learned 30 new things. And the reason why I bring this up, because I ask salespeople this all the time. Tell me something new you've learned over this past week. I hear crickets.
Yeah.
I literally hear crickets. But you're in business conversations every day. You're having conversations with people, which means you're learning something. It's just retraining your mind. What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, they're only learning something if they're actively paying attention.
True.
Well, the first thing that I loved what you said, Larry, is if you're the CEO or a sales leader and you're sharing back your learnings, because right there you're modeling modeling the behavior, and when you start doing that, other people will do that as well. I see that happening at LearnIt. I'm inundating people on my team with what I'm learning and what I'm doing, and in return, we have a Microsoft Teams channel where people are always sharing that back. Now, another great way for your team, I think, to learn and continue to build this culture, and this is for you sales leaders out there, it's giving feedback to your team. Whether you're watching gong calls or you're accompanying them on meetings. I don't think a lot of people know this, but sales reps and people in general, they really want to get feedback. And by you providing them feedback and having a conversation around it, that's a golden opportunity for them to learn. And also, I think as a leader, it gives you an opportunity to learn more about them and also different perspectives of things. So I think it's really critical, and an underused thing in sales is the importance of giving regular feedback to your sales team, both on whether it's their discovery process, lost deals, whatever it is you can do to get feedback to your team. I think that's a great opportunity for learning.
I love it. As we're wrapping up, one of the things I wanted to talk about today was your background in sports and how this has influenced your philosophy of learning. I'm curious, coming from that background in baseball to now leading a company that's dedicated to helping people learn, what did you bring from the sports world over to that's guided your philosophy here in learning today?
Well, I think as far as my leadership style, I had the fortune of playing for 3 Hall of Fame baseball coaches in college. And so, it really helped mold the way I go about leading. Sports are it's amazing, and you don't have to be a Division I baseball player. You could learn from playing high school sports, learn how to be competitive, collaborative, have discipline, but also, Darrell, really when it comes to learning, think about this in baseball. You step up to the plate and you strike out. Okay. So that sucks. You go back to the dugout. You're going to either get some immediate feedback from your coach, or you're going to have to make some adjustments yourself. And so that's learning right there. And then you got to turn around and you got to put that back in practice. So how baseball and sports in general help me when it comes to learning is that you have to learn and adapt, and you also have to dust yourself off, because you're going to have so many failures and mistakes, but hopefully the great baseball players and the great sales leaders make mistakes. They take ownership of those mistakes, and they figure out how to learn from them so they could do better next time. So that's really what I learned from sports.
Hey, really quick, only because I encourage y'all, you got to go out and get Damon's book, Learn It All Leader. But there's a great story in there. I just want you to tell the Barry Bonds story.
Sure.
You got to, this is a good story, but Damon's in the story, but you got to tell the Barry Bonds story.
So I played baseball at Arizona State, and, Barry's probably 10 years older than me. And, he was there. He came back for the alumni game, and I'm dating myself here. This is probably 1994, and I'm in the on deck circle. I'm batting third, and I'm watching the pitcher warm up, and I could hear this voice behind me, like, "Hey, number 20, Lembi." And there's probably 8,000 people in the crowd, and so you're not supposed to turn around and look. But I also everybody knew that Barry Bonds was there, and he was sitting right behind the on deck circle. So I turned around and he's like, "Come over here." And he's like, when you look at the picture, and this is the story that Larry's referring to. It's the intro of my book. And he's like, when a pitcher squeezes his glove, he's throwing a fastball. When he opens his glove, he's holding it. That's a curveball. And so, I'm watching with Barry, the leadoff hitter, and he's calling, Darrell, every pitch, fastball, curveball. I don't even really know what I'm having a hard time tracking what he's doing. So I get up to the plate. There's a guy on second, and I'm like, okay, he's squeezing his glove. This has got to be a fastball. Curveball right over the middle of the plate. I'm wrong, right? And I'm like, okay, his glove's open. It's gonna be a curveball. Boom, fastball. At least it's outside. So I'm like, forget it. I'm not going to pay attention to this anymore. Barry's different, right? And so the next pitch, I hit a double into the gap. Run scores. Barry gives me a big high five. But I think the purpose of that story is, here's Barry Bonds at a college game, And he, instead of just screwing around, he's a student of the game. I mentioned to you, Larry, I got to know Barry very well 20 years later, and spent a lot of time with him. And he's one of the smartest individuals that I've ever met, especially around baseball, because he's tuned in. And the point of it, the story in my book was, here is this guy, and he's learning. He's constantly learning. He's looking for little ways that he can make himself better, which I think salespeople could always do too. And not only is he learning, but he's also giving it back. He's sharing it back with me, right? Which I thought was super cool. And so, Larry, thanks for letting me share that story.
I love it. What a great story.
No, it's so good. But here's the point behind all of this. As leaders, you have the opportunity to pay it forward. Mm-hmm. Just as Barry Bonds paid it forward when he was at that game, right? And he gave some advice to Damon I want us as we wrap this up I want us as sales leaders, think of all the things that you're learning, all the interactions you're having with executives. You owe it to yourself and your company to pay that forward and cascade that learning all the way down through your sales team.
I think that's incredibly important, and I think your team would really appreciate it. And I'd add to that, I think that these great leaders can also bring out the best in their team by helping them highlight and understand what they've been really successful at. You know what I mean? Just like when I hit that double and came back to the dugout afterwards, Barry's like, "Hey, great job, kid. Great job." And, it meant the world to me to have somebody like that recognize a success that I had. So yes, I think that the leaders out there have to pay it forward, and share their experiences with everybody, but also recognize and, acknowledge some of the great work that their team does.
I love it. Damon, what a great conversation. I know everybody listening in is going to want to go grab their copy of the Learn It All Leader. We'll put a link in the show notes. How else can folks get more Damon Lembi in their life?
Well, I would say check out my podcast, the Learn It All podcast. Larry was on it. He was awesome. One of my favorite episodes. Go to learnit.com. And if you send me a message on LinkedIn that you heard this interview, I'll send you a code to a free class. I remember reading, Larry, your blog about learning soft skills. And, so whether you want to learn something on emotional intelligence, or business writing, or how to use AI better, just send me a message. I'll send you a code for a $250 class. All I ask is that you send me feedback after the class and let me know what you learned. So that's really the best way to get a hold of me.
Wonderful.
So good.
Thanks for your generosity. Thanks for sharing your heart and your wisdom with us today, Damon. This has been incredible. We really appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. I love it.
Our pleasure.
Awesome. So many golden nuggets inside that conversation, but I love this concept of being a learn-it-all. And I think, in sales, look, we're sometimes know-it-alls, but having the humility to approach life, that was one of the things that stood out to me when he was talking about humility being a core trait of learning, and that servant heart that says, I want to get better so I can add more value to my clients, my prospects. Like, that is so of the essence of what we're driving at here at Selling from the Heart.
Absolutely. And here's another thing to think about, and really ties into our great conversation with Damon is, I think we all would agree. We all want to make more money the following year than we did the previous year. And in order to do that, you can't stay the same. You got to constantly be learning. Learning has a direct correlation to income. And so the more you learn, the more you earn. It's as simple as that, right? Dr. Seuss, Darrell. It was Dr. Seuss at its finest. So you can see what I paid attention to in school. But nevertheless, this is what I love is, here's my challenge. At the end of every day, just grab a sheet of paper, write down what you learned. And then at the end of the month, go back and review it. You'll be surprised. First of all, you're going to be shocked. Second thing is, you're going to go, my gosh, I didn't realize I learned this much. It's a whole mindset thing.
I'm thinking, Larry, as we wrap this up, I'm thinking about my son who is in college. And so he started his semester. There was a learning plan rolled out for him. This is exactly what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, all of that. He's got a learning plan, but it's been a few years since I graduated from university. But I think the concept of saying, can I put a learning plan together and get even more intentional about what I want to learn? And this time of year is a great way to do this. I know everybody's thinking about their goals for next year and planning and getting everything put together. If you're a sales professional, what's your learning plan? What's your learning plan? And I was talking yesterday with the sales leader of the team, and they're putting together their sales strategy and for next year and their whole revenue growth plan. And we were talking about a huge component that most people forget in their whole sales strategy is what's your development plan for your team? How are you going to grow and develop your people? And so this whole concept of learning, phenomenal, super powerful. And this is, dare I say, at the top of the list, if not at the top, in the top 3 of things we can do as sales professionals and leaders to set ourselves apart from the pack in a highly competitive world.
So true. Okay. All right, Darrell, you're going to wrap this up in a second. I'm going to drop one more Dr. Seussism on you.
Okay. We can tell what's in Larry's learning plan.
Oh, it's basic learning, people. It's basic learning. The more you know, the more you grow. How's that one?
There you go. I love it. Oh, the places you'll go, Larry.
Oh, don't get me started on green eggs and ham.
This is devolved. We better wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for listening, especially those who are liking and sharing and leaving reviews on the podcast. It helps us spread the message. We've got an announcement coming up really, really soon that you're just going to absolutely love. So stay tuned to the podcast. And until next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust. Become a learn-it-all. And most of all,
sell from the heart.